Good evening, everyone. Hope all is well. So, we are back. It's Monday, first live session of the week. And we are now going to be going live with a property manager, property owner, um, and different aspects of what is to be done within the property. We are going to be discussing that with Daniel Kayne here.
How you doing?
Daniel,
How you doing, Mataza?
good. And yourself?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I've had a hard day's work. Well,
Oh,
at least if that's what you call it.
it's
But
not finished yet. I'm going to give you a hard
well,
time on the live session.
as you know, but you work in property. It's a lifestyle. It's not. We don't have normal working hours, do we?
Of course, of course. It's like 24/7, right?
It really. With what I do, yeah, I'm not sure about you.
Yeah.
You look a lot more comfortable, a lot more chilled and relaxed than me.
No. I have to be like that on the live session, right? I can't be stressed. I won't take any calls or messages, so it's just
No, you look
me.
you look happy. You look happy, and that's the
Oh,
main
yeah.
thing.
You gotta look happy. Doesn't mean that what shows is what's inside.
No, but I mean, like I try to take the rough with the smooth. Obviously, is everything that's gone on recently, and
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm not shocked anymore. So, for instance, what you see is what you get with me now.
Exactly. But thank you so much for coming on this live, joining me, sharing your knowledge, spreading that positivity, and providing the knowledge to people to see how you do it in your professional career. So thank
Yeah,
you so much for coming on.
listen. I'm flattered that you pick someone like me because I'm sure you have a lot more successful people, and
Oh, well, everyone's successful in their own profession. That's
this is
how I
it.
see it. It doesn't mean that like a lot of people see these days that, oh, how many followers do you have on Instagram, or
Yeah, yeah,
how many business deals you've done. It's not about
yeah.
that. It's how you are successful within yourself and you feel content. That's what success is, right? If you're happy, that's it. That's what matters.
This is exact for me. Success. The most successful people I see are the happiest. And if you're
Absolutely.
happy, then to me, you're successful.
Absolutely. Daniel, let's get the conversation going. But before
Sure.
we do, if you can introduce yourself as to who you are and what is it exactly that you do.
Okay, so I'm a property professional. I'm now a senior building manager, and I've been in this career for about 10 years now. I'm 39, and
Okay.
when I came to London at the age of 29, after a totally different course of say working lifestyle. And as you know, when you turn the big, I don't know how old you are, but for me,
30, 35.
I'm 35, so you're still young.
Just 4 years.
Those 4 years are big. I mean, I came here because I had to. So that was when I had to start
So
my.
where did you originally come from?
So I was living in the countryside. I was living in the English countryside, and
Okay.
I was still in property, but I had three properties. I had the house and two flats, and I'd accumulated these properties through working, as I mentioned to you before, as a fitness model. So I'd been in that industry throughout my whole 20s. And then, as you know, the property crash came in
Yep,
2008,
yep, yep.
and then I took you know, I was bitten very badly. I had to learn a hard lesson, because before then you could just buy anything and just rent it, and you could get the
Absolutely.
money for it.
Absolutely.
And the mistake that I had was I was living on debt, so everything seemed great because I had property, so I could buy cars, TVs, furniture. It was all on finance. And then when that crash came down and I could no longer rent the properties, I was taken to court by the mortgage companies, and I had to
Wow.
sell the properties.
Wow.
And I came to London with had to get rid of the cars were repossessed, so I came to London with an old Peugeot full of clothes and a small amount of money, and that's it.
Wow.
And that's all I had. I had no qualifications or anything.
And that's how you started. But before we get into the conversation, I want to
Yeah,
take you a few years back into your childhood,
yeah,
teenage life.
yeah,
Um, and when we are growing up, right, we see a lot of careers in front of us that sort of aspire us to become that career in our life one day,
yeah,
whether it be a doctor, an architect, an
yeah,
engineer, a lawyer, a musician, an actor, you know,
Yeah.
all those careers we see in front of possibly our family, our parents, our aunties, uncles, whoever
Mhm.
they are. And we see them and we look at them and they're like an inspiration for us that one day I want to become a doctor, you know?
Yeah.
So what is it that inspired you to sort of choose the career that you're in right now? Or did you think that, you know, I wanted to be a doctor, a lawyer? What was it that you wanted to do when you were growing up?
I always wanted to be an actor.
There we go.
And I went to drama school for 6 years, and that's how I fell into the fitness modeling. Because the truth is that it's not like the career. You know, you want to be a doctor. You know, if you get your PhD, you're going to start off small in a hospital somewhere as a
Yep,
junior
yep,
doctor, and you're going to work your
yep,
way up.
yep.
With acting, it's very different. You can be the best actor in the world, but if you haven't got that 50%, that luck, or you meet the right people, the right area, the right circumstances, you know, and then you fall into other things, you coast into other things, and that's where the fitness modeling. Luckily, funny enough, when I first came to London, as I started working, I actually got my first acting gig. So, and fortunately, I made it to IMDb. So, I now have a professional acting career, but I don't have the work coming in because I'm too busy focusing on my professional career.
Of
But
course.
that was the original dream. That if you want to know that, in all honesty, it wasn't a doctor, it wasn't an astronaut, it was just to
It
be an
was,
actor.
and you took your studies from that to going to drama school at university as well. You must have studied.
I actually didn't. I don't
Okay,
even. I'm a stupid person, so I don't. I keep learning. I'm the kind of person that when any time I wake up.
learning gives the experience, right? It's not, I mean, I went to university, and if I sit down right now and I talk about university, I don't think university gave me that experience
Probably not.
that I got in the 12 years of doing this business, or being in the property industry. And like you said, learning.
Yeah,
You learn every
yeah,
single day. You do a property deal, or you negotiate a property deal, or you go to a property viewing.
yeah,
You see an area, you see a location. You learn every single
yeah.
day. So
Of course.
I can match myself to that, to how I'm doing it right now, where I'm learning every
Yeah.
single day. So you went to drama school, and then you came out, and then you got into meeting people, networking with people,
Yeah.
and that's how you landed your first proper job, which was being a fitness model.
Basically, that's. I would never say it's the first proper mob, but you meet an agent, so so you have to go around the different agents and see who will take you on.
So it's like
Um,
going to a recruitment agency and registering yourself for a job, and then they call you in whether they have a job or not.
it's similar, but you're judged. The judging is rather than based on your CV experience.
It's more
It's
the
based on,
talent.
yeah, and it's based, yeah. And that's where I think drama school helped me, is communication. Because like I said, I'm not the most articulate or most academic person,
Yep.
but I think confidence and the ability, because I know some people very, very clever, very intelligent people with degrees, but my God, you put them in front of a situation or a crowd of people and they so shy, and
The
nothing that they
the
know comes
blank.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I think drama school gave, is that that extreme confidence to be able to
That
talk to anyone. And if you can do that, because people buy into people, you know, you can have the degree and everything, but I
absolutely.
always got successful within the property game going to jobs, because when you're dealing with properties, you know, people buy into people, and if you're going
Yeah.
to represent properties or represent a job in that industry, people are going to buy into you first and foremost. You're an
Of
ambassador
course.
for whoever
Of
you work
course.
for,
Of course.
and communication and confidence is everything.
Absolutely. So how did you go about landing that fitness model job? What did it involve? How did you go about it?
To be honest with you, not much went involved. Like I said, throughout my whole 20s, that kind of work, it was pretty much you get put in front of someone and you just get picked, right? Um, it's very superficial. You know, it's a very superficial. I learned that the hard way. The things it's based on, and youthfulness, and you know, your cut. It can even be down to the color of your skin. It can, all
Seriously.
these kind of variables that go into it. Unless you're worked in that industry, you wouldn't really understand it, and most people would find it pretty discriminating. You know, I did this in the 90s. You know, because like I said, I'm going to be 40 next year, so
Yep.
that for me, you know, but it's an experience. It's, you know, you learn to really bite the pillow, because you have to. and from a young age, which is why I've got such a thick skin from that. That also helped me in my career today because, as you know, within property, you need to be thick-skinned.
You need to be absolutely. I mean, I remember my days of when I used to get the phone calls. Oh, we've got this property and that property, and you do a deal on that property, and then like somehow or the other the commission's late, or the commission's not paid properly, or your boss is like, no, this doesn't make up, this sum doesn't make up,
Oh
and
yeah,
you gotta go through that, right?
of
And at
course.
first you're like, like you start arguing, but then you learn like, it's,
You
look,
just a job. You just get on with it.
if it has to come to you, and
Yeah.
whatever is written for you will come to you, no one can change it.
This is it. And obviously you're quite successful now. So you've gone through that. A lot of people don't go. That's the
Still
difference.
going through that every single day.
Of course. If you can't go through all those hurdles, it's no point you going into business for yourself.
Of course.
That's what I'd say.
Of course. So you went into fitness modeling. How was it? What did it involve?
It involves doing a lot of things that can make you uncomfortable. There were times, when I turned 18 and I was doing jobs where you literally had to pull your trousers down, So I'd be honest with you.
Seriously.
Yeah. But they like I said, there were some days where I was earning £100 a day. And at that young age, I had a lot more money, cash money, than all my friends. So I was always walking around. I could go and buy whatever clothes I want, and I can go anywhere. And that taught me a valuable thing about seeing money coming into your hand. It's the best work experience you're going to get.
Of course.
Just earning money.
Because you see, I mean, your hard work. How people analyze stuff these days is that they see the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
They don't see what's underlying. How much effort you've put in, what you've put in. When you roll out with a Rolex on your wrist, you're like, wow. Oh, you've nailed it. You've done your deal. You don't know that deal must have taken that guy 3 years to put on the table, and
you don't know what they had to. Yeah, they sold literally to get whatever that you see them have. Some people, we have it hard. We have it hard.
That's how the world runs, right? People see material, then usefulness of what that guy has done, or how he's achieved that. No one will ask you the question, oh, how did you wear that Rolex on your wrist? They will tell you that you've made it.
It seems easy that way, and they can relate if it's easy. But if you show them the hard bit, a lot of people, they're scared.
They'll back out. They'll be like, I can't put in that work. Or I mean, sometimes when people come up to me and say, oh, I'm looking for a job, and because Instagram, like I really use Instagram to make myself work, to make my brand work.
Yeah.
To let people know what I'm doing, right? And then a lot of these 20, 18, 19-year-olds, they will come up and they'll be like, oh, I want to learn the trade of property and how it's done and blah, blah, blah. How did you your first deal? And then when you tell them that, I'd been through 26 interviews to land myself a job in the estate agency market. And when I landed that job, the guy told me that you got to work on commissions only.
Right.
There's no basic salary. There's no.
You did it the hard. You didn't even have.
I went to Foxtons. I went to Savills, Knight Frank, everywhere. Went to give my interview, from the big agents to the small independent agents. In North London, South London, everywhere.
Yeah.
But when I tell them that, and I tell them that, will you work on commissions? They're like, oh no, I can't do that. I need a basic, I need to work these many hours or blah, blah, blah. I mean, if you can't put in the effort.
How much are they going to give you for your first commission? I mean, what commissions we're talking about? If it's 50-50 commission, then maybe, but then, then how long is you going to before the turnover of your first deal on? There's a lot of things
it depends on your work ethic. Right. I mean, there are two guys that are working with me right now, and they're working on commissions. They're working on 30% commissions. Whatever deal they bring in, or even a property that they source and we do a deal or I do a deal, they are guaranteed a 30% commission out of that. And they are working. Both of them have been working for the last 6-7 weeks. I won't lie, they're students. They're getting that experience and everything. But you know, that's how people see it. We want easy money. We want a basic salary, security, and that's how we're going to work. But it's not like that. If you work on commissions, that will make you keep going every single day.
You've got no choice because you
Exactly.
have to sell to get to eat. And
Exactly.
this is the big thing, and this is why I think my early career helped me in doing well, because even if I get a job as a senior building manager, pay me 50,000 to 60,000 pounds a year, which that's the current salary my salary rate. I mean, I had to sell myself to get to that. You have to sell. I believe if you can sell yourself, you can sell anything.
Absolutely.
That is the golden rule. Believe in yourself. Have value for yourself, which you have to love yourself to a certain extent, because how is anyone else going to love you or want to buy
I mean, when I
anything?
put myself first on the camera, I was like, am I doing the right thing out here?
Well, listen,
And
confidence
now
is
it's
key.
like I just pick it up and my mouth just keeps talking. So I
People
have
are
to like stop
infectious.
myself.
Exactly. People can be infectious if no matter how insecure you are with the way you look or the way you feel. If you're confident and you can bypass all that with confidence, you can become infectious, because people will listen to you because they'll believe in what you're saying because you believe in it. Confident
Absolutely.
people believe in what they're saying, and that's how the game works.
Absolutely. So you got into fitness modeling and you did that for quite a bit of time of your career, from the 20s to the 30s. You did
Early
that for
30s, yeah.
early
I was
30s. You
still
did that.
doing it, and
Yeah.
even now I did that. It didn't actually till I turned 30. The biggest jobs I got was actually when I turned 30. So I got a 5-year contract with royalties, and that was for
Wow.
a hair company in funny, even though I know I'm
Hair
sure,
company.
a
Hair
hair
company. Are
company
you
in
sure it
Harley
was a hair
Street.
company?
Exactly. And believe it or not, because this is all my head is all a tattoo. Yeah.
Serious.
And it was the company, it was called SMP, so I was the face of the brand, and they paid me a huge sum up front, and I was lucky. I was pretty lucky, and I had good agents, and I got like, good networking. But I also did a New York art project where they did an oil paint of me, and it was a project for Ralph Lauren and Blackwater, and I got turned into an oil painting, and someone bought me. So I'm on someone's wall in America. Some rich guy has got a picture of me, which I've got. You can have a copy. I've got copies of it. So they do prints of it as well.
Does he know that it was you?
Yeah, I mean, you can see. Well, he doesn't know me personally, the guy who bought it,
Well, you need
but
to get
yeah,
in
he
touch with
knows.
him.
I was just. It's the same. You see the Mona Lisa painting.
Yep.
It's done by Leonardo. That was just some woman that he picked that he probably paid us whatever small fee to
Yep.
be the face of his picture. You
Exactly.
know, look, it's now the most valuable painting in the world. So I'd say that was
One
the
day.
highlight
One day. One
yeah.
day.
One day. When I'm gone, and it won't mean nothing to me. Yeah.
um. So you got your break with that contract that you got for
Yeah.
why did you transition yourself? And I also want to talk to you about that when you got into property and you bought
Yeah.
yourself property, how did you run yourself into debt? Because property
Mm.
is supposed to be debt proof, right?
Very wrong, because that's the problem is, as you know, before the crash, and you probably been in many years you've been
I
in.
just I just got my first job in 2008.
So that was when, and that's probably why you got only offered commission, because things were hard then.
Things were tough.
And
Absolutely.
I had, like I said, I was making all this money, and I had enough for deposits. But that's the problem, mortgages. Now, if you're buying to let, now also one of the properties I was living in, so I was living in the house. So now, stupidly, I was living in a 3-bedroom house all by myself, and I was trying to rent 2 flats out. Now, that was fine, I was renting them out. But when the people lost their jobs during the crash, I'm in the middle, these properties were in the middle of the countryside, they were in Essex.
Oh.
And not even near a station, you know, it was 5 miles near a station. So suddenly I couldn't rent them. Now I have 2 mortgages. I'm having to pay where I live and the 2 mortgages. And then there's the lifestyle pit. I was using all this finance that the banks were throwing finance at me, because I had 2 cars. I wanted a Jeep and a sports car, you see? And then the big TVs. Back then it was all the plasmas. We had all the plasmas, and everything was on debt. So I was doing up the house, silly things, you know? And I accumulated a lot of debt. When I wasn't having that income coming in anymore, well, the mortgage companies, they still want their money.
Absolutely.
So this is
At that
how
time, didn't you think that if I bring the rent down, get it rented,
I tried
and
everything. Tried everything.
it didn't work out?
I thought this was the way my mind was thinking, was small. I thought I'd have a house and buy 2 flats near where my house is, so it would be easy to manage. So I knew nothing. Then that was the problem. I was just a fitness model then that was told to invest in property. I had no actual geographic knowledge, an understanding about the infrastructure of renting.
I mean, how did you get into investing in property? Did someone talk to you? Did you go to an agent?
Family was telling me, put your money, when you get money, put it in properties. You've heard that probably a million times.
Yep.
Invest in property. It's not as straightforward, as simple as just ABC. Even in London, especially now, look at what's happening now. Brexit can change a lot of things. The virus has changed things. I would definitely think that if you think that you can just take a bit of money, go and put it in some bricks, and you're going to make money, it doesn't really work that way. Especially, of course, if you have
after the fact, the government said that we're going to run down your house if we find someone with coronavirus in there.
Not just that. I mean, you're talking. I would say buying properties or mortgages where you put small deposits down, you have a hefty mortgage, and you're doing that, you really need to do a lot of homework. You can't just go and just think, right, I'm going to get a deposit, just rent it out. Unless you buy the properties outright, that's fine. But not everyone's going to have millions of pounds to do that.
Everyone doesn't have. I mean, even the millionaires and the billionaires, they also use the bank's money to buy the property. That's why absolutely. So you got yourself into debt. The banks came, chased you up, you went to court. How was it? How was that experience, and how did you come out of that experience? What positivity did you take out of that and use it in your life so that you don't do that mistake ever again?
I don't even own a credit card anymore. I'll never buy something unless I have the money to buy it twice over. So even if I've
heard that quote somewhere.
That I've learned that now. For me, if I want a brand new pair of trainers, they cost £200-300. Unless I can buy 2 pairs, I won't buy one. That is my mindset now. And there's no borrowing. I don't own no credit cards. My banks, when they offer me this and that, I said, don't please. I don't even want an overdraft. I don't want to borrow ever again. That is the thing. I own a property now, but it's not in London, and I own it outright with no mortgage. That's what it taught me. It taught me never to. You think borrowing, and people love it. They're being offered this, I can get this, and it seems like you're getting something for nothing. No, and you can just pay it back in drips and drabs, and it doesn't work that way. With the interest and all this, and when things go wrong, they will swallow you. They will swallow you.
Absolutely.
That's what I learned. You know what? That's a good lesson I learned early on in life. The banks at that time were offering me £20,000 black cards because I had everything. I won't,
status, name,
exactly.
You know what? Yeah,
it's all borrowed. Everything. I've realized everything you have in this world is borrowed somewhere or another. So don't let it stress you out. For me, like I said, we go back to the first subject of happiness. I'm probably got a lot less than I had back then, but I'm much more happy. I don't buy anything unless
stress-free. You can sleep well. You don't have to wake up.
I have the most beautiful sleeps now. Like I said, I do everything. If it doesn't bring me fun, it doesn't make sense. And the old saying was, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. But now, if it's not fun, it doesn't make sense.
Absolutely.
Even if you buy something, if you invest in something, I have to see the fun side of it now.
Absolutely. So you got out of debt, and
I had to sell the properties, and like I said, I lost so much, and because the properties went down. So what I thought that I had in those bricks,
nothing.
£50,000-60,000 drop straight away. So I came to London with a car full of clothes and £20,000 in cash, which is better than most people.
Of course, £20,000 is a lot of money.
£20,000. So, but then again, like, it's a big shock system. I had nowhere to live. So suddenly now I had to go on the Gumtree and find a place to rent. So I was renting in West Hampstead, and I had no job or nothing like that. And I had no, I'm an ex-model. So in my mind, I've gotten older now. No one's going to want me, and I have no education. So I had no degrees, no nothing. So, but like I said, I have the ability to learn. And I was on the Gumtree. So then I thought, well, I'd seen jobs on Gumtree. So then I was looking for jobs on Gumtree as well. And it was selling. All the jobs that I was being offered at that time was, right, companies, they need to make money. They want to sell. It seemed very easy to talk my way. I didn't even have a CV for my first job. I just said, this was my first proper job, you know. But they liked it because I was calling them up, and the way I was speaking, they thought, yeah, this guy could sell.
Yeah.
So I worked for IPC Media as a salesperson.
And what did you do there? What
selling magazines.
Okay. Magazine advertising spaces, basically.
No, just actual magazines, so subscriptions.
Okay.
Look, the hardest thing in the world to sell, my God, making someone give you direct debit details for a magazine that they probably had for 1 year and they don't want it again. Believe me now. So I used to these bored housewives, you know, the husbands at work. So I had to convince them while they're cooking the kids' food, you know, to get this subscription again. A lot of the time, because I was so persistent, they would just, well, okay, the guy he's funny, he's making us laugh. We'll just take the subscription, because that was the only way I was going to get them to buy it. Because let's face it, if you heard a magazine,
and those jobs, obviously their commission's higher and the basics lower. So
basic was nothing. I mean, I didn't even look. The basic was that they did pay a small basic, but it was, you know, you're not going to jump for the basic. So the commissions, even the commission wasn't that great. So if you had the commission and the basic together, it would accumulate to still a low salary.
Yeah,
the low salary, and that didn't last long, because me being ambitious and meeting people and talking to people. I remember
you want to sit on the other end of the phone, and
I'm always talking to people and I'm always looking, and that's the mindset I have. I mean, you don't need to be a millionaire, but if you have a millionaire life mindset, you'll always be successful. You'll always be able to jump to bigger ponds.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I mean, I can give you I did a lot of jobs. I can give you like a whole string of stuff what I got into afterwards, but you probably want to know mainly about the bulk of I got into how I got into building management. So I used that £20,000 to educate myself. So I got a City and Guilds in construction. I did an MVQ in health and safety. So that money, I made sure I bought.
You put it towards your education.
Yeah, the only luxuries I bought was an Armani suit, so I can go to the interviews in. That was the only.
With an Armani suit.
An Armani suit, and I bought a laptop so that I could communicate with people, and then everything else went into my education. And so now it's different. Now I've got a portfolio about 20. Now I've got like a nice glamorous portfolio of qualifications, all accreditations in facilities, public services, health and safety.
And all this education you took from the age of 30 until now?
31, 32, yes. I started probably about 31, 32, and it took over a period of 4 years, accumulated. And even while I was working, because I got my first building management role, my junior building management role, at the age of 32, going on 33, just going on 33. And it was a small, again, they gave me a chance. So it was a junior building management role.
And what did it involve? I mean, people talk about property management.
Yeah.
We understand what property management is. But what is building management?
Building management is slightly different. So property management can be either AST or block management. Block management is a bit more complicated, it's leasehold management.
Yep.
Building management is a bit more technical. So there's a brand new building they've just built, £300 million development, say. Sometimes they're called development managers, sometimes estate managers. If it's a building manager, it's usually junior. Building manager is usually a bit more junior, unless you're a senior building manager. You're given a big, huge block, usually a leasehold block, and sometimes they'll have commercial units, like maybe a supermarket underneath.
With all these new developments that are going up, you know.
One Hyde Park, for instance, is a block, and they will have a building manager. He'll probably be on £150,000, £200,000 a year for that type of development. But like I said, it was a junior role, and they only paid me £22,000 in my first year. But because of everything I did, and because of how tenacious I was, and because I loved property, and I was always told by my parents, look, every brick is like a bar of gold. So I had passion for this. I thought, you know, I could build a career.
Had it really been a bar of gold, there wouldn't be any houses standing in London.
I mean, yeah, now, see, they're all flat packed. They're all like flat packed, but the land, the property value itself, I mean, I was seeing all these high-end, and the people on these shared ownership schemes, and this was the kind of building I was working in, and I learned everything about solar panels, green roofs, cold ventilation systems, plant rooms, water chlorination. I can tell you now, I can dissect the most complicated buildings, and I'm the biggest idiot. Like I said, I was the biggest idiot that knew nothing.
Yeah.
But when I first in this job, I was thinking, I was given a project, right? You've got to manage all the defects and inspect all the subcontractors' work. I was like, my God, I don't know what I'm doing here. I said, this is nothing what the courses teach me, you know? Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
But within 6 months, I was a little fish getting eaten by these big sharks. But all the contractors like Galliford Try and people like that. And within 6 months, I grew into a shark myself, because I was surrounded by sharks. So this kind of job, you either sink or swim.
Yep.
I proved that, you know, I'm capable of this. You know, I had the persona that could fit in well to this type, because you have to be a certain type of character to do that kind of work.
Of course.
Um,
and what did it involve? Did you have to go out and check how their finish is?
Not just that, I had to find problem solvers. So subcontractors, they wouldn't tell you if they drilled through if they were drilling through electrics and they drilled through a drainage, one of those red pipes.
Okay.
You wouldn't know. But if it leaks, you have to now investigate and find out how that happened. So it was war with contractors.
Did you have a team, or were you single-handedly doing
in the beginning, in that role, it was all me on my own. I eventually, as the building developed and all the properties started being sold off and there was service charges coming in, then I started having teams like supervisors, security, cleaners, etc. Okay. But in the beginning, it was all me. You know, I was literally sweating every day and sometimes doing 12 hours a day. But I loved it. It was like,
and at that point, I don't know. I mean, we're going back 9 years, 8 years, or whatever it is. But at that point, did they have those iPads with just ticking off the boxes, or did you have to go in with a set of paper and write everything down and put that on a computer and then email it over? And
I know what you're talking before. Listen, now the buildings, you know, we had a BMS system, but the BMS system wasn't developed back then, because they didn't expect that many defects. It was literally me walking around, literally with a tool set around myself, measurement kits, everything like that. I had to literally do physical work. I literally had to jump in cement myself to find out what was going on, what was going wrong, because the building hadn't been signed off or complete the final phase. So yeah, I think to have all these, to be able to use all these tools and tick off boxes, it's all great, and that technology is great. But if you don't know the bread and butter of the work, if something goes wrong, the technology doesn't work, how's your brain going to function?
Exactly. You know,
and
that's where all these companies are, like, with all these automated processes and everything. You can get a kid to do those things, but will that kid actually have the experience? If that technology fails, how is he going to go about and do that? Or how are they going to pick that up and put it to work and make it proper? So,
well, this technology will tell you when something fails. So a BMS system will tell you the health, say a fan's gone down by 20%, the health of it. But then if you're just going to be one of those type of guys, those concierge type of people, what are you really worth? If you can't go there, if you don't learn, if you can't go to that piece of equipment and actually, because the machine might not tell you, might just say it's a fault. What are you going to spot the fault? Whether it's a service issue, whether it's a warranty issue, you've got to determine whether someone's sabotaged it. You have to work out, you have to go in there and really know what you're doing. You have to understand this. This is where the technical experience, technology is key. And so many often I see development managers, and they're just office based. You know, they want to drink tea and have a biscuit and answer emails. You know, that's I deal with these.
And they hate estate agents like me when we go up to them and say, "Oh, do you have a property to sell or rent?" And
I mean, because obviously with property managers and stuff, they're going to know a lot of the landlords. Block management's a bit different because we manage the externals and the fabrics and the communals and the facilities. Obviously, being on stage, and you're probably dealing with a lot more of these AST property managers who are like managing blocks. They're dealing with.
I will deal with anyone who can get me an instruction on the property. It doesn't matter.
they have influence. For instance, my mum, she's a big landlord as well, but she does HMOs and stuff.
Okay.
I was working for her at one point, helping out, and I even done the licenses of the HMOs and stuff. So, I mean, being an estate agent is tough. You know, I think I looked at your page and I noticed you're doing sales, and I think sales are a lot more less stressful. Doing lettings and trying to win vendors through lettings is a very hard game in London because it's so saturated. You're my God, the competition. You're everyone. You're fighting.
Of course,
for that deal.
Of course.
And I admire people that stick with it. You know, I admire people that stick with that because, you know, being a stage, especially being an independent and being your own business, my God, that you know, you've got, like I said, you've got to have thick skin, and everyone's competition to you because there's estate agents, they literally put themselves together. You've got estate agents door by door next to each other. It's like, my God,
come to Holland Park.
I know Holland Park. I'm in Chelsea, so I know Holland Park down the road, and
Exactly.
so I know it's everywhere. Sage.
So you picked up that you got your experience as a junior building manager, and
Yeah.
now you are a senior building manager,
Yeah.
where you own your own properties as well. How has the transition been, and how are you seeing life right now?
Like I said, I don't have the luxuries of what I had before. When I first came to London and I was working, I was grinding. I didn't have any properties at that time, but I remember the importance of having properties before. But this time I said I'm going to do it right. So what I did was, with the help of parents, plus hard work, plus using these government schemes, first time buyer schemes, I managed to get a brand new property, brand new flat, which I never lived in. I just rented it out, and that was a St. George property in Colindale.
Okay.
I bought it because I got the discounts. I knew now.
Is it Beeford Garden, something
Beaufort
like
Park,
that?
Beaufort
Park. Yeah, that's it.
And so and I saw with the potential, with the discounts I was getting. I said, you know what? Knowing what I know about properties, I said I could make £100,000 profit out of this in a few years.
Yep.
So that was in 2012. I then bought that and I sold it in 2015. I paid the parents back, paid everything, and what I had left was enough to keep me a small bit of change. But learning what I learned, learning from speaking to landlords nationally, I then bought property in Sheffield, outright with no mortgage.
I mean, there you can exactly.
No debts. I rent that out, and that covers my rent here. So when we had the pandemic, I was fortunate.
You're just sailing happy.
I was just surviving, and I think, do you know what? Nowadays, it's not just nowadays. Being rich is the last hurdle, but now the first hurdle is being able to survive. And I think you're successful if you can just independently survive on your own and care for yourself. That you are, in this day and age, with all the struggles that we've got with viruses, political issues, and everything, now the first step of success is being able to survive and carry yourself and being independent.
Absolutely.
And that is what I've taught myself, and all the troubles and all. Because listen, if I give you all the bad, if I give you all the hard stuff no one wants to hear about.
Oh, well, we've heard most of the hard stuff.
They would have jumped off the building by now.
Yeah.
So I take that with the rough with the smooth. So I think that is the best thing to motivate someone. I say, look, you don't have to look at people the highest and big successes, because not everyone's going to be that way. But you're going to be successful, and you can be proud if you discipline yourself and you can survive in this world. And surviving in this world is a hard thing. You know, that is what I say. But get yourself at least one property, and it doesn't have to be in London. It doesn't have to be. People think, look, I've proven if I take £50,000, I can go up north and buy a 1-bedroom flat outright with no mortgage. Do it up really nice, or you can do it even cheaper. I'm talking that's the higher end up there. For 20,000, you can go to auction and get a property for 20,000. Exactly. You can spend 20,000 doing it up, and you'll rent that for £750. But you show me in London, if you buy a 1-bedroom flat here, you're going to cost you minimum £300,000.
Absolutely.
And you're going to see a return of maybe 1-bedroom flat in a good area. You know,
I mean, the current return is between 3 to 4%.
For me, that's low, because
absolutely a lot of a lot of my clients, they always say that, you know, why should I invest in London when I invest up north and I get 6, 7, 8, 10%.
Well, not just that. I mean, the same money. So for £300,000, I can buy 6 properties up north. And if you times 700 by 6, you look at you calculate that figure compared to one £300,000 flat in London, and even in the good areas, what rent you're going to get, I'm going to be making double, more than double up there. Of
course. But some people are concerned that, you know, okay, I may get the short-term return on that, but my capital appreciation is not going to be anywhere near to what a London property can offer me.
But then you say capital appreciation, so then that's where I go back. Okay, there's 50,000, or you have £300,000. You've blown most of your capital appreciation on buying the property in the first place. So in my mind, I'm thinking that it's smaller to have more secure long-term investment, debt-free. Up there, the trick is you learning the regeneration plan. So for me now, being the kind of person I'm in building management, I won't buy a property up there unless I see I can go to the council, freedom of information request, I can get the next 5-10 year regeneration.
Regeneration.
So I know student towns, I know what infrastructure building, any rail links. I can find out all the information.
And that's why you went up to Sheffield.
Sheffield's a very good area. I was looking at places
listen to Daniel. I've got 17 properties which are development potential, investment potential. Anyone interested, get in touch. Listen, I'm going to record this and actually put it on there.
Yeah, I promise you this now. If you have, listen, the land up north, that's a smart. Everyone's got London. Look, London after Brexit, if you see the post-Brexit plans, if they do what they say they're going to do and build the rail infrastructures, now the next couple of years, the next 2 to 3 years is you have a golden opportunity to invest up north, because I do feel the properties are going to shoot up there. I feel that, but in about 3 to 5 years, I would have doubled the money. Wow. And for me, it's a secure investment because, like I said, okay, great. If I accumulate £300,000-400,000 and buy a flat in London, but that's that money gone in. But the rents I'm going to be getting, it doesn't make sense, because to see that capital, you're still going to have to sell that property.
Absolutely.
So absolutely. I think London's had its point now where we come on to Brexit. A lot, as you know, being Holland Park, you've probably seen the 15% drop already in the property.
Of course.
So I know from living in, I rent in London, but I will never buy in London. I'll rent in London. I'll buy flats.
One day when you can go out there and buy it outright, why not?
For me, London is looking more like a holiday. I mean, unless I see a drastic come down in the prices, I'm more happy to buy properties up there, rent them, and use that to rent in London, because one day I'm going to want to go back up north where I bought my properties when I want peace and quiet and want to relax in the countryside. London is where I'm here to graft and earn money. I also do little things on the side, like I buy and sell things online. I set up small short-term e-shops, and I buy
like Amazon, Shopify, and all that kind of stuff.
I've got loads of products here. I specialize in fitness products because I test all the products myself. I've got all kinds of products here that I buy and sell, and I'm a hustler. I'm just a hustler. Look, I'm a humble hustler, and if anyone here is going to watch your live, whatever you're going to do with this video, look, have a hustle mind state, before you think about the millions, before you think about getting rich. Look, I've seen the most money I ever had. I was the unhappiest. I was stressed and in my head with debt. Now I don't have any debt, and I can cherry pick little projects I want to do, and if they work out, great. But I'm not investing. These products, I don't actually pay any money till the customer buys one. So I know zero investment. The only money I spend is a small couple advertising posts.
I was just telling someone yesterday, they asked me, like, what should I do? You know, I don't understand. Where am I going with my life? And I was like, listen, pick up your phone, go on YouTube, and just search, how can I drop ship? You don't need a single penny of investment.
I'll be honest with you, you need very small amounts of money, because look, to be good at drop shipping, the first thing you need is a little page, like a little Facebook page. But you might have to do a sponsored advert. That's fine. Very small money. We're talking hundreds, not thousands. But you can accumulate this in hundreds. You can get an external Google page link. You can I've got a marketing web guy who's got my page, puts it on Google, and he changes the whole script of the page for each different product I want. It costs me £50 a time to do it, because it's nothing. We're talking one-page websites here. One-page websites here. And I'll be honest with you, the bulk of you're talking your investments within hundreds. You can make £10,000-12,000 within a few months.
I mean, I've got 5 friends who sell on Amazon, and before lockdown, they were all complaining, oh, business this, business that, business this, and property is such that sometimes you're complaining, sometimes you're positive. It's like that, right? But these guys now, my God. Just in the first 3 weeks of lockdown, they have tripled their revenue.
I'll be honest with you, I had the most fun. Like I said, on Instagram, I have a gaming account.
Yep. I was going to come to that. Like, what's with the gaming? I mean,
my passion, look, I'm born in 1981. If you're born in the 80s, gaming, video games are life.
I remember the Atari, you put the cassette in. You used to have a gun that you shoot on the
for me, if I can find something that makes me successful, where I can just chill all day and play games, I'm rich. That for me, I've made it, and that is a passion of mine. So it was so perfect when lockdown happened, because obviously the job I was doing was on contract at the time, so that finished. So I was thinking, okay, I don't have to worry because I got the flat, skin paint. I was surviving just on the bare minimum. Yep. I was thinking, what can I do? And I was playing games, and I was thinking, well, I'm just trying to. I knew shops. I mean, look, I'm even selling masks at the moment. These are doing all right.
No way.
So I've got loads.
Say no to masks.
But everything I will sell things. And I'll be honest with you, it did lockdown. It's jumped. And look, it's bad as it is. A lot of shops going out of business, but for people like us who do little e-shops, we're doing all right.
I mean, even the big retailers, they're now like, for example, Cat Kitchen. They had 60 stores in the UK. They've closed all of them down, and it's all online.
Because your problem is the margin, turnover margin line is a very fine line to keep all these jobs and all these buildings,
and the amount of people you have to employ, the amount of people, the salaries that you have to pay those people, and everything.
Exactly.
But I mean, no hard feelings to anyone out here who may have lost their job or whatever. But this is the way the world is moving now.
This is why I say you can't. The problem with these jobs nowadays, especially the lower paid admin jobs and things like that. You're putting your trust in these people at the top. They're making decisions with your life. I can't be one of the fish in my mind. You said ocean out there, and my mind says being a shark. I can't be swallowed by the whales and be like a fish. I have to, even if I swim alone independently, I have to be a shark. It means that I have to go out there and fend for myself, eat, catch my food and eat it. I can't rely upon these big companies to.
I've just got an ocean mindset right now.
Listen, it is because we're in a water planet. You have to think. We're in the land, but the majority of this planet is water. It is we're in one big ocean, and we have to see looking at the way that these little fish and these sharks and how they survive in the ocean. We have to compare ourselves to that, because in reality it's no different. Look at the government. Can we really trust them with the things that have happened really now? I mean, 1 minute they say left, 1 minute they say right. I don't think they know the left and the right between themselves. And I think now the more important, if you do lose your job, use this point to make yourself stronger, less reliant and dependent on these big companies that will just pay you a nice little basic to sit down and do some emails and phone calls. For me, that when Armageddon comes, what skills do you possess? What mindset do you need to actually survive? Because look at the heats that's happened recently. If we don't do nothing about climate change, it's going to get a degree hotter each year. Exactly. One day it's not going to be an opportunity. I do see it. If the world carries on where it's going, it will be survival of the fittest. And I think the fitness starts within your mindset, the way you think. Before anything, forget about being big and strong. Yeah, you could be I've seen some of the littlest, frailest people, but my God, they're tough and they're strong. Their mindset, it's all in the mindset.
Absolutely. But thank you so much for coming on here, sharing your life story.
I think you should do a podcast next. I think now that you've done the Instagram, I think the next step for you is.
It is a podcast, right? It stays on my Instagram live for whenever anyone wants to come.
Yeah.
Take some knowledge.
The podcasting thing's big now, because someone asked me recently about this podcast. We're in the property thing, and I'm starting to see podcast. People got this thing, podcasts. Podcasts have people to tune into your podcast, and I think if if this works out for you, I think definitely consider the going down the podcast route, and then hook me up. You've got my contact now, and
absolutely,
you're connected with me. If you ever do a podcast, let me know, because the podcast, these are. The amount of viewings and listeners you get on the podcast will be really huge. So if you ever want to know about the podcast, bell me out.
It's good to know that. Thank you so much for coming on here, sharing the knowledge. But before you go, it's been, the whole live conversation that we've had has been so positive.
Yeah.
But yet I'm going to ask you one last.
Go on.
What positive advice would you like to share with the world so that they can take that on board? We've seen so much negativity in the year 2020 that everyone wants to just erase that year 2020 from their CV, from their life, from whatever.
It's a scary year. It's like one big horror movie this year.
Exactly. So what positive advice would you like to share with the world today so that they can take that on board and move forward in life?
I'd say, the only thing, whatever problems they've got, look, there's probably people that's like, I'm very fortunate, you know, and I'm very lucky. But if you can learn anything from me, I'd say, you know, you're gonna just keep a smile on your face, no matter
Absolutely.
what. Never let people see you're down. Nothing you own in this world, nothing possession is gonna come with you in the afterlife one day.
Absolutely.
The only thing you're gonna take is your mindset and your state of mind
and your good deeds and your bad deeds.
Your good deeds and your bad deeds. So there's no way you're going to do bad deeds and keep a smile on your face. So do things, you know, do as much as you can, expect as less from anyone else. And it is the golden rule. It's the most empowering thing is to help people. I did some volunteering recently on the lockdown for the NHS. The most empowering thing is to do something for someone with nothing in return. If you just do things like that, the empowerment you have and the peace of mind and the fulfillment, the airiness it gives you in your head, it's like a sense of freedom. Do anything that can make you feel good and feel happy, because that's all that you're going to take with you. I've learned that, and as I told you from my past, I learned the hard way about materials, possessions, and having everything. We own nothing in this world other than the smile that we wear, and that's the only thing that we're going to take is our happiness. So that is the best thing I can give to share with anyone.
Thank you so much for coming on here and sharing that with us today, Daniel.
It's
been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Take care. Take care.
Bye-bye. So, wow, amazing. What an amazing positive live session with Daniel Kayne, building manager, fitness model, a online store seller. So much. I mean, these are the people that you can learn from, how to become successful, independent in life. That was absolutely amazing. And thank you so much to Daniel for joining me. Thank you to all the viewers that tuned in. It's been a pleasure. Just to give you an update, there are not going to be any more live sessions after today because, well, there are not many booked for this week, but we'll be back 31st of August, where we'll continue with our live sessions again, and I will see you then. In the meantime, take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.